BTS deserves just way more credit. People here do not know how much they are benefiting from BTS's existence. Like, they're just breathing it, but they're taking it for granted. That's why I'm putting out all these numbers. Welcome to YouTube's favorite K-pop show, DK News. Today we have jam-packed news. First off, NewJeans, them getting rejected by the court again. Not a good situation for them. And second, we have All Day Project, a long time no-see co-ed K-pop idol group produced by Teddy. There's a lot of hype, there's a little criticism as well. Last but not least, BTS is back and I am excited for this one. Today we're focusing on the economic impact BTS has for the Korean economy. Let's make people know in Korea that they're being blessed by BTS's presence. So on to the first news. So on June 17th, the Seoul High Court officially rejected NewJeans' appeal to lift the ban on independent activities without their agency, Adore. This means the group cannot promote, perform, or sign any deals unless Adore approves, or they'll face huge fines. The fight began after Adore CEO Minijin, the creative force behind NewJeans, was removed, and the members then tried to leave the agency and plan to restart under a new name called NJZ, their new song Pit Stop, but the court has now said a firm no, not once, but twice. Back in March, the lower court already ruled in Adore's favor, blocking all solo or outside activities. NewJeans challenged that decision with an objection and an appeal, but both were dismissed. The latest ruling confirms that NewJeans has no legal path to operate outside of Adore for now. The court explained that Adore had invested substantial resources, training, branding, promotion to debut NewJeans. Unless Adore has clearly violated their contract to destroy mutual trust, the group cannot unilaterally walk away. An internal conflict between HYBE and Minijin does not legally justify breaking the contract. And here's the kicker. If all 5 members perform without Adore's consent, they would be fined 5 billion won. Per violation. That's around 3.6 million USD per unauthorized activity. So where does this leave them? Quite honestly, in a limbo state. Creativity silenced, legally cornered, and with the full verdict on the contract's validity still pending, this is far from over. So from now on, fans won't be seeing NewJeans in music shows, commercials, concerts, at least not unless it's through Adore. But in the meantime, the group says they're not backing down. Now the question everyone's asking is, can NewJeans survive this fight and come back stronger, or even just maintain their reputation? Or will the courtroom silence one of the most once promising girl groups of the 4th generation? And what kind of ripple effect will this have on K-pop? As Danny and I discussed in the last DK News, I think the chances are very low that NewJeans is actually going to survive this lawsuit in one piece. Of course, their reputation is already taking a huge hit. Even if they come back, there's always going to be antis or some kind of negative tag following them. Of course, they have great talent, they have great visuals, they have a good connection with producers, and their songs were really good. After all of this, it's been dragging on too long. The tides and energy aren't on their side. I'm quite curious on what their law firm is planning right now, what their angle is. Maybe they have one more card up their sleeve, but up till now, it doesn't seem so. So I think this is definitely going to set a precedent in the K-pop industry that you cannot disobey your contract, even if you have a massive following and massive hype at the moment. But yeah, this is definitely going to be in the history books of K-pop. It is one of the biggest cases ever, so I'm really curious on how this is all going to unfold in the last final ruling, so we'll all have to see. But yeah, there were rumors that the girls were spotted traveling in other parts of the world right now. As much as they're being hated or criticized right now, they are human beings at the end, and as individuals, they're relatively very young and they have like a lot of time ahead for their lives and careers. Hope this isn't affecting them too much, like mentally. Either it's under a door, either like they miraculously find a loophole in this situation or whatever. You can hate them or not, but I think a lot of people are looking forward to their potential music performances added to the K-pop library. So at some point, I think it's going to have to settle. But yeah, so let me know what you think about the situation and how it's going to unfold and what the final ruling or the outcome is going to be. And on to the next news. Speaking of the rise and downfall of K-pop groups, a new K-pop group just dropped their first music video and they're already making noise. All Day Project is the new co-ed idol group from Teddy and the Black Label. Their official debut is set for June 23rd, and their pre-release track Famous already hit 25 million views in 16 hours, ranking #1 on YouTube Korea and trending globally in the US and Brazil. Famous is a sharp blend of synth heavy beats, electric guitar riffs, and tight choreography. Definitely go watch my reaction on the DK News After Show. And the production team behind it is aespa's Armageddon and 17's Hot, which are really nice, really crazy music videos. But it's not just the music turning heads. This 5-member team is being called the Avengers of K-pop rookies. So Annie is the daughter of Shinsegae chairwoman Jung Yu-kyung, which means she's literally a chaebol, and she graduated from Columbia. Tarzan is a modern dancer and model. He has a very vivid, strong look. Bailey is the top choreographer for K-pop acts like Red Velvet and aespa. Very talented already. Uchan was Show Me the Money's youngest ever contestant, so he's very skillful in rap and hip-hop. And everyone's favorite, Youngsa, was a longtime trainee and nearly debuted under Islet, but now she's got an even cooler group. Anyways, they're also the first rookie idols allowed to keep personal Instagram accounts from pre-debut. About time. And of course, Annie's chaebol background has drawn both admiration and a little bit of criticism. In a recent documentary, she revealed her family initially opposed her dream of becoming a K-pop idol, and her mother called the idea absolutely not. Annie described it as her first heartbreak. She says she earned their reluctant support by getting into Columbia, but online some are questioning whether this is passion or privilege. But beyond that, there's a larger industry question at play. So the All Day Project is the first major co-ed group in years. After, I think, Hard maybe, something rarely attempted in modern K-pop due to concerns over fandom dynamics, dating rumors, and image control. But in the past, mixed gender groups faded because they just didn't fit the K-pop model, built on tightly controlled parasocial bonds. But with a global audience more focused on music than image, this may be the right moment to try again, and I think Teddy's taking that leap of faith. And that leads to two big questions. Can a co-ed group succeed in today's K-pop ecosystem? And also for Annie, can she escape the shadow of her criticism and prove that she belongs there purely through merit and performance? My thought on co-ed groups is I think the tides have kind of changed because this is a more global environment and the international audience is a little bit more understanding. They're like, oh, K-pop idols are human beings too. They can date whoever they want. But even so, it is still K-pop, so there is going to be definitely a part of the fandom that does not like that. But why do I get the feeling that if you look at their image, it's just not like the typical idol image. It's like the YG-esque, Teddy-esque kind of hip-hop, OG, Big Bang, that kind of vibe. These kind of vibes, I think, are kind of more repellent towards those parasocial relationships. These guys are positioned to be like free, like liberal, more revolutionary, and like artistic. So that's my personal opinion. As far as it goes for co-ed groups, the track record of them being probably, I guess, maybe mediocre or not really existent in the K-pop scene, I think the structure was the problem too. But in the history of music, I don't think there is a lot of successful co-ed groups or bands in the first place. I don't have that much music knowledge. Maybe ABBA? I just thought about this for a while. Why is it like that? I think it goes down to like lyrics maybe, or the message. It's hard as a co-ed group to make a universal message. There are still gender specific nuances and lyrics and sentiments, right? So that's why like more females relate to Taylor Swift's music. And there's also like musical vibes as well too. So it's always kind of been like divided in some sort of way. Whether it's like music or style or lyric, there's always like a dividing factor. Because it's so hard to combine that in a neat way where there's like both sexes in one group. I think that's why it makes it difficult, experimental. So I would say this is a pretty big gamble from Teddy. But one thing for sure is that right now the reaction is very positive, just for the fact that it's a refreshment to the K-pop scene. The K-pop scene has been kind of saturated, stagnant in terms of concepts or groups or whatsoever, but we needed something new like this. I think a lot of K-pop fans are just excited in general of, oh, it's a new Coed group. It's a new wind in the K-pop scene, and they're just like looking forward to what this group is going to deliver. I'm really excited myself too. And about Annie, like, what are you gonna do? So what if she's from a chaebol background? She's already debuted. She's probably done her fair share. Of course, it might be kind of disappointing and underwhelming for all those other talented idols out there that don't make it through blah, 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 blah. Quite honestly, the world to begin with isn't a fair place. Everyone has their own unique assets, their perks, their abilities, their merit, their whatever. And I'm pretty sure Annie also did rigorous training. She actually had to confront her chaebol parents, like had to go through like college and all that. And people will still say she's privileged and oh yeah, first world problems. But anyways, like I'm just saying, like, it's a new group. They have different members as well too. She's one of the members, so, and she just debuted, so let's give her some slack and room to prove herself at least. I think it's even more pressure and unfair at some point to her. She already has this frame and she has to try double the amount of effort to crack out of it and actually gain the people's validation. Too early to judge. This is like a reoccurring theme every time I see anything about Lisa nowadays when she does like massive performances on prestigious shows, or everyone points it to like, oh, this is like her boyfriend just flagging her there. I won't deny that that is one factor, but still at the end of the day, she has paved her own way. She deserves all that hype, and she is Blackpink's Lisa after all, before you go into that. But I guess this is different context because like Annie was a trainee and now she's only debuted. But anyways, you get the point. I hope she can prove the haters or the doubters wrong. So let's see. Now on to the next news. So BTS is back. You probably already know all about the military discharges, J-Hope's insane encore concert, and the 60,000 Army's Purple Wave Festa. But now it's time to talk about what this all really means, not just for K-pop, but for the entire Korean economy and so on. So I'm going to be dropping a lot of numbers and statistics today, because BTS's full group comeback isn't just a fan celebration, let's be honest. It's an economic event. Just the news of BTS returning has already raised HYBE's projected stock price by over 17%. An analyst bumped up their target to 370,000 won, around 270 USD. If BTS launches a full tour and releases new music this year, their contribution to HYBE's total revenue could nearly triple, from 15% last year to 48% in 2026. And here's some context. In 2020, after BTS hit #1 on Billboard with Dynamite, HYBE made about 796 billion won, roughly around 580 million USD in a year. And the next year, BTS broke the 1 trillion won mark, which is about 730 million US dollars. And interestingly enough, even during the military hiatus, HYBE hit new records, earning 2.25 trillion won in 2023. That's a 1.65 billion US dollars. And now that BTS is back, that number is expected to rise even more. Reports once estimated BTS adds about 5.5 trillion won, about 4 billion US dollars to South Korea's GDP. And to give you an idea, that's more than the GDP of some small countries in the world, or roughly the entire annual budget of NASA's Mars program. It's also 20 times more than what Korea makes from selling instant noodles globally in a year. I don't know about the recent budak though, like the fire noodles are going crazy right now. But anyways, one concert alone can create a ripple effect worth 1.2 trillion won, 880 million US dollars, not just from the ticket sales or merch, but because fans fly in, book hotels, take taxis, eat out, shop, blah blah blah. And take the 2022 Busan concert, over 500,000 people showed up, and that day the local economy surged by nearly 1 trillion won, 730 million US dollars. And 60% of the crowd were international tourists. Now imagine a new BTS world tour, 70 to 100 shows globally. Analysts predict that tour alone could earn 1.3 to 1.5 trillion won. $950 million to over $1.1 billion US dollars. That would place them among the top 3 touring artists in the world. That means BTS's tour revenue would be on par with Taylor Swift's record-breaking Eras Tour, $1.4 billion, or surpass Beyonce's Renaissance Tour, $579 million, or Ed Sheeran's Divide Tour, which is $776 million. And that's not all. With BTS back, the Korean government is linking their comeback to national growth. The newly elected president Lee Jae-myung is aiming for a K-culture export era worth 50 trillion won, 36 billion US dollars by 2030, 3 times today's size. And definitely BTS will be the face of that expansion, especially as China reopens its entertainment market to the Korean content sector right now. Hybe is already moving fast, launching a branch in Beijing. And if Chinese restrictions lift, K-pop agencies could see 15 to 40% more revenue from China alone. BTS's return is about more than fan service. It's a full-scale economic engine, and not a lot of people understand that in Korea. BTS deserves just way more credit. People here do not know how much they are benefiting from BTS's existence. Like, they're just breathing it, but they're taking it for granted. That's why I'm putting out all these numbers. At this point, they're not just K-pop stars. They're national representatives and symbols, and their comeback isn't just exciting, it could literally power Korea's soft power and cultural exports into a new global phase. Now the question is, what will this next chapter look like visually? Can you imagine? Will their first move be a quiet album drop or an all-out stadium tour? Will they come back with a nostalgic anthem like Spring Day, or drop something completely unexpected that breaks every record? Now personally, my prediction is that they are already working hard. Every single member seems to be very motivated. They've had a good rest, as they expressed, from the military. Now they're fully charged. They probably ideated a lot during their service. They've experimented with their solos, their singles, they've done a lot of collabs. I think they're already warmed up. And I think Hybe would be greedy right now. Not in a bad term, like corporates need to be greedy, right? And it's just the right timing because there has been some negative buzz around, like, you know, NewJeans, Bang PD and all that, blah, blah, blah. Even for the newly elected president, he wants everything to be in favor for his side too. So he's definitely gonna put a drive onto like the K-cultural sector. I don't like politicians using BTS for their like own schemes and stuff, but still, like, there are some good things that come out if like there's a national drive, a political power like boosting and giving support to the group. I think everything has aligned, and that's why I think within 2025, we still have like 6 months left, right? Maybe I'm too ambitious, but within this year, I feel like there might be an album drop. You might call me crazy, but I just think there might be an album drop, at least a few songs, some new title songs, and then they will commence their world tour all over the world, like 60 to 70 countries. It's going to be phenomenal. That is what I'm expecting with my own personal taste. And also strategically, I think they're gonna put out a banger first. They want to announce properly that the kings and legends are back. Then it's going to have to be like a hardcore banger, mic drop kind of vibe. I would bet on that because like you see like V and Jungkook, everyone got buffed, but like imagine them in like military suits and doing like a military kind of concept. That would be dope. I mean, not the best timing right now with all the war and conflict going on. But anyways, like hypothetically, if they were to do something like that, wow, that would be mind-blowing. That would explode. So yeah, please let me know. I love to see all your theories and thoughts. But don't just go yet, because if you want more tea, come join us on the DK News After Show, only on Patreon for just $5 a month. This week is packed. I'm gonna be doing a reaction to All Day Project's Famous and reading some of the comments. Also, speaking of Chinese expansion, Tencent is now officially the second biggest shareholder of SM, and it also has shares in Kakao, and this recent change is waking Koreans up. Also, we're talking about Jungkook being whirled into a little oopsie about a certain hat, and there were some people triggered online. Was it a valid reaction? Let's talk about that. Plus, Jimin mentioned that he gained 10 kilograms in the military because of his food. So let me go down memory lane with my experience in the military about the food and all that. So see you all there, and that was it for today. Bye.